the portfolio is what we call the learning plans or the lesson plan or the lesson note. And the lesson note has a style and a way to follow, a guideline to follow. Let's look at what NTC says. NTC says that this group requires you to submit content as a whole and not to the individual fields. However, grading will be done based on whether the submission meets the rubrics for the group. Which groups are they talking about? This group. So, we are not going to submit for learning indicators, resource planning, alignment, and what have you. But rather, we are going to submit the document as a whole. And NTC is saying that we are to submit 15 lesson plans per term. And we can all attest to the fact that the longest term we have is 14 weeks. We have 12 weeks and 14 weeks and what have you. So there's no way we'll be able to achieve this target if you write one lesson note per week as we normally do. Or the same, NTC still holds the view that 90% of work done is good, is okay to them. So at least uploading 12, 13 or 14 lesson plans is good, it's okay, it's normal, worry not. And I'm going to take you through the individual component or aspects of the learning plans so that we'll be abreast with time, and this will serve as a guide in our lesson note preparation. The first one on the list of the lesson plan is the learning indicators, and this is the same as the objectives. So I'm going to search for an example on how the objective is. So if I take the Form 1 lesson plan, the indicator is the objective and here is the indicator. So the indicator here shows that if I take the curriculum and I open to Basic 7, Strand 3, Substrand 1, Content Standard 1, and Indicator 2, that's the second indicator, I should be able to see this indicator. They examine what happens to food at the stages of digestion in humans. That's it. And anything in this lesson note is based on this indicator. Now, if I check that of GHS2 note, that's objective. It says that by the end of the lesson, the people will be able to define the term climate and season. So that's the objective and that's my indicator. If I check from GHS32, yes, they'll be able to draw and label the mammalian tooth. The mammalian tooth. You can see that my note has been vetted on the 16th of May 2022, and I have my remarks there as well. So that's the indicator we are talking about. Now the second aspect is the resource planning. Resource planning simply means that you have to plan your teaching learning materials, the teacher learning materials, the apparatus, the accoutrements, the materials that is going to assist you, that is going to help you to deliver your lesson and bring learning to the doorsteps of your learners. You bring the teaching and learning process to the doorsteps of your learners. So that's what we call the resource planning. Now, let's take an example. In the resource planning, if I take the GHS1 note, I have resources. That's what we call the teacher learner resources. So I have pictures of real food items. That's what I'm saying. I'll come to class with real food items, example meat, palm oil, cassava, animal fat, etc. And chart of classes of food items. So these are my materials that I saw. NTC is going to look at this thing. Do you have materials that you can easily get, material that you can easily lay hands on? And if I check that of GHS2, my materials are teaching learning material, that chalkboard illustration. I said I would do a lot of illustrations on the board because I'm going to deal with season and climate. And if to what I'm trying to say, if I'm able to illustrate season and climate on the board, that's my whole issue. And I will be integrating the data literacy in this particular lesson, whereby I will play a video on climate and season 4 with the learners to have a feel and view the video and have a discussion on the video. And if I go to JHS 3, chalkboard illustration and textbook illustrations, we take illustrations from the textbooks of the learners and a chart showing the mammalian tooth either being drawn, or this chart can be an already printed mammalian tooth showing the various parts. Now, the next aspect has to do with alignment to core competencies, values, and attitudes. And I've explained these core competencies in the previous video, saying that we have core competencies to be achieved in the curriculum. And if you take the lesson plan, that is where we'll be able to see our core competencies or our core point. If we talk of core competencies, we are talking about the core point, the note that will be given to the learners. What the learners will get, what the learners will take home. Are they taking with digital literacy, critical thinking and problem solving, communication and collaboration? What are they taking? Is it creativity and innovation? What are they taking at home? What are they taking home? So that's the core point. So if I take the JHS 3 note, that's my core point. If I go to JHS 2, that's my core point. And I said they should be able to define the term climate and season. So I have the definition for season here, the definition for climate here. And if I go to JHS 1, 2, I have the core competencies to be achieved at the end of this particular lesson. So I have communication and collaboration, 7.4. I have digital literacy, 5.5. Digital literacy, 5.1. Digital. So almost the various components and aspects of digital literacy should be treated. But here lies the case. I never brought any resource that will harness the spirit of acquiring that skill of digital literacy. Have you seen the correlation I'm talking about here? So, like this, if NTC says the DL, okay, you said digital literacy as your core competencies, but your resources, it doesn't match. Then you have yourself to breathe. Critical thinking and problem solving. What are they going to think critically? Are they going to model anything? Are they going to model the digestive system? What are they going to do? And creativity and innovation, same thing. Are they going to model something? So we should take note of these particular things and rubrics of planning our lessons, so that NTC won't have any issue with us. Then we have awareness of learners' entry behavior. The awareness of entry behavior simply means that the foreknowledge or the knowledge learners have before coming to school, and that's what we call the relevant previous knowledge. It is relevant. Now, if we take this particular node, that's Form 1, what do they learn? What do they know? What have they learned before? So that's what we call the performance indicator. So learners have been eating. Oh yes, I'm going to teach about digestion, and my RPK, relevant previous knowledge that they have been eating. And it's perfect. That's it. Because it is individual. All of them have been eating. So if I write learners have been eating, that means that in looking at the individual differences, each and everyone in the class have been eating, including the teacher, including the facilitator. Therefore, the facilitator will be able to deliver the lesson well. Let me check the RPK for JHS 3. Pupils have teeth. And we are going to look at the mammalian tooth, the structure, the diagram, the part. So if I have the mammalian tooth and the RPK says that pupils have teeth, then it's normal, it's good, it's okay, because we are going to use that. Then assessing learners' learning. That's the assessment at the end of the lesson. What are you going to give to the learners? So at the end of the lesson, at the evaluation and remarks column, 1, they should be able to label the part of the mammalian tooth. You should be able to know if this exercise commensurate with the objective 1. Draw and label the mammalian tooth. And here I said that label the part of the mammalian tooth. Meanwhile, I said they should be able to draw here. Have you seen what we are trying to say? So it should be object specific and number specific. So what I have in my objectives should be the same thing at the exercise or the evaluation aspect. That's the formative assessment aspect. So in this case, I said they should draw, but here it has been drawn for them to be able to identify and label the various parts and list the diseases that affect the teeth. List the diseases that affect the teeth and state 4 ways to care for the teeth. State 4 ways to see that. That's what we're trying to say. You have to assess whatever you've learned here. So looking at your teacher learning activities, your core points, you have to assess those particular points. Then here to define the following. We have climate, we have season. So it's the same as the objective here. Let's look at objective B. State 2, difference between climate and season. And here, same thing. Name the types of seasons. Name the types of seasons. That's it. And if I take that on the HS1, let learners do the following homework. Draw a well-labeled diagram of the digestive system of humans. They are to draw. Mere fine motor skills, using their hand to draw. Fine motor skills. They should be able to visualize the diagram in their minds, and they should be able to portray the visualization on a piece of paper. So that's what we're trying to say. And we have knowledge of content standard. The teacher should be abreast with the subject matter. What you are about to teach, you should be able to know. And honestly, if you don't know anything and you're writing anything at all in the lesson note or in planning your notes or your lessons, you could say that it will reflect in writing the note. So knowledge of the content standard. The teacher should be the master of the subject area. You should be able to know what you are doing. So if the portfolio assessor is going through the note and he sees some irregularities, we will say that no, this teacher or this facilitator is not master of his own area or of the subject, and that will go against you. So let's do well and build be abreast with what we are teaching, to be in the know with the topic we are about teaching. We need to research extensively and exclusively on the topic so that we'll be able to produce it in the lesson notes. Sequencing of presentation. How you present your activities, how you present your teacher learner activities, and how you present your exemplar. So we have activity 1. What is activity 1 doing? Activity 1 is soliciting for information from the learners on the definition of climate and season. So I'm brainstorming to get a lot of information from my learners. And the second one says that I should let people watch the video on climate. So I have used the resource here, and we are going to watch. After that, we discuss. And discussion is a methodology. So we'll discuss that too. And if you come to that of J3, I'll present papers with the TLM showing the diagram of the mammalian tooth and assist them to draw. After drawing, we discuss, and on we go. So it should be sequential. You shouldn't say that here you said that you should be able to draw, and your activity 1 says that discuss with people some of the diseases that affect the mammalian tooth. No, it doesn't correlate. It doesn't align, because your first activity should deal with your first objective, your second activity should deal with your second objective, and your third activity should also deal with your third objective. Let's look at this. So name the types of seasons. Discuss the wet and dry seasons of Ghana or in Ghana. So that's it. Your objective, your activity, your objective, your activity. So you need to match. Then timing. You need to time. You need to time. You need to time. Timing is necessary. Timing is necessary. And let's look at something. I said that This lesson is 70 minutes. That's it too. I said it's 70 minutes. So let's check. Introduction. I will use 10 minutes. Introduce the lesson by revising or review papers of previous knowledge.